Well, I'm back over here doing some work again, and my cannons that I transplanted up here a couple of weeks ago are looking pretty good. We got a pretty good shower Monday. We got a little shower Tuesday and a big downpour last night. So it's all looking pretty good. Oop, somebody ran off the road. The dually. But anyway, I'm on this side of the road. I'm setting a post for my gate that I'm going to put on this side. I dug the hole yesterday and I wanted to go down to about 2 feet, but I had my post hole digger, and as typical over here, there's a lot of rocks and boulders. And I've got that's an 8-foot pole, utility pole, that they replaced that one right there years ago, and it was laying right in here when I cleaned all this up. So I just cut me an 8-foot piece off. The intent was to go down 2 feet, put concrete around it, and etc. But I hit a big rock right down there, about 18 inches. So I'm going to secure this up, level it up, maybe dig out a little bit more around it, and then let it dry out a bit, and set it in concrete. And then in about a week I'll come back and set the gate on it. I was walking around here yesterday, just easing through, and I got around here to where I stopped, and what looked like maybe an old pond a long time ago that just filled in, dried up, right in there, right in that area. And there was a nice buck laying down, and when he jumped up, he's still in, you know, they're starting to grow, their velvet, but he was really big around, and it already had topped over top of his ears, and he was probably, I don't know, maybe 3-4 inches on the top. He was really nice. And when he took off that way, which is nothing but a drop off, and then the road's right here. So he might have crossed and went back up. I do have pictures of another velvet buck that's going to be nice over here. I jumped him yesterday when I walked on that side. I just went for a walk just to check on my water hole because we gotten so much rain. And we got some water in my bucket. Found a little tortoise on that rock that I put in that tub. I think he fell in there when he was crawling, and then all that water came and that rock was in there, and he crawled up on that rock and was just sitting there. So I reached down and grabbed him and put him on dry land so he could continue on with whatever it is he was going to do. Anyway, so I got my support timbers and all that, so I'm going to secure this, level it up, and let it sit till it dries, and then I'll pour concrete in it. Okay, I'm going to get at it. All right, well, I got it squared up and tacked in, and I dug out a little bit more around the bottom of the hole, and I'm probably going to dig some more, widen it since I can't go deeper, and hopefully that will help. I may even drill a hole through below about 2 or 3 inches below the surface, drill a hole all the way through it and put a piece of 1/2-inch rebarb in there to help stop it from moving. I don't know if I got a bit that long. We'll see. But anyway, I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of days because it has rained a lot and dry out pretty good. Then I got to come in here. That thing's been sitting. I got to get all of this stuff off and keep it from rotting more. I think it'll do better. It'll last a little bit longer since it's up off the ground and it has the ability to drain, and I get this stuff out. I might take a pressure washer and wash all that off of there, clean it up. Hopefully it will last a few more years. Yeah, and then I won't have to worry about it. Somebody else will have to worry about it. Alrighty, that's it for right now. It's a beautiful day out here today. And I drove across that spot they filled in. It didn't look like it sunk too bad. So I guess they got it packed in pretty good. We'll see, because I'm going to be going across it a lot. Okie doke. Catch you on the cement when I get ready to pour the cement. Well, it's been a couple of days since I dug the hole. I'm going to have to dig out some more of that dirt around the post so I can get concrete in. But I'm going to set some concrete around it today. And so I got my wheelbarrow, my water, my cement, all my tools ready to go. It's going to be a pretty day over here today. It's really, really nice this morning. But anyway, that's what's going on over in this part of the world. And so I'm going to unload everything and get to it. We'll see what the results will be. Okay, I could have used another bag of cement, but that's going to have to do it. And I'll let it sit here for about a week or so, and then I bought 2 hinge bolts that I'm on. They're about 12 inches long, which will fit through here, and they have a nut on it that I can tighten it down. So I'll be drilling a hole for each hinge. Got 2 hinges, and so whenever that gets set up, then I'll start putting the hinges on for the gate to swing on. And so I'm done. That's all I'm going to do today. About 15 minutes. And later. Well, good morning, folks. It's a muggy Monday morning, and the temperatures are going to be very hot this week. And so thought I'd come over here and work a little bit this morning. That is a treadmill that my son, we were keeping it for him when he moved about 3 years ago, and my wife has used it and completely wore out the belt on it, and still runs. But anyway, she bought a new one back last November, and a very nice one. Nobody wants it, so after I get through doing some little work preparing for this gate over here, I'm going to take it to the dump, and they'll recycle it or whatever. But they don't open up till 9 o'clock, so I've got some time. But the task this morning is I got some cinder blocks, and I've got my gate over here, and my pole's been set for a few days. And so what my intent is to take these cinder blocks and set the gate up there, because I want it off of the ground, about 10 to 12 inches off the ground, so it doesn't drag over time. And So in order for me to achieve that, to make it level with that post, which is supposed to be level and square, I'm going to put those blocks across here and use my level to level out the blocks on the ground in relationship to the post, and then I'll be able to drill my first holes for my hinges. And I got those big long bolts. It's about 12 inches, but that's the type of hinge I got on this gate. I got 2 of them. So that's my gate that I picked up for this section. So that thing's almost probably 15 feet long, wide, and so it's probably going to take up this whole road. And then when I get it up, I'll find where the end is, and I'll set a post over here to put a chain on. But anyway, that's my task this morning, is to get this this blocks. I'm going to set this gate on, because this is really a 2-man job, but since I'm a 1-man, I got to use these blocks to help me get it set up and onto the first hinge. And so I'm going to use these blocks to level up this road right here that I'm going to set it on. So I'm going to get to it, and I'm not going to show a video of me digging and leveling. That's kind of boring. I do watch a lot of YouTube heavy equipment. These guys that, you know, excavator running, building, moving dirt and that kind of stuff. It's almost like I guess I've become addicted to it, because it's like I think part of us has when God created us, he created us, some of us, to be creative in nature. And I think one of the things that intrigues me about the dirt moving and the heavy equipment is that these guys are creating, you know, something new out of something that existed, and reusing and using what God created. So anyway, I find those things very, very interesting. Also, there's a YouTube channel where the guy is working. That's what his business is to do overhauls and works on heavy equipment, bulldozers, massive track holes, all kinds of stuff. And watching those guys interested me, that this guy's skill set and knowledge to be able to do that kind of stuff. So anyway, God has created all these different people for a purpose and for their different skills for us to be able to use. And anyway, I find it all interesting. Anyway, so I'm gonna cut this off and get to work, and we'll see what this looks like when I get through. Later. All right, I thought I'd show this part. Okay, so I measured on the bottom of the gate from that corner all the way to that where it makes a little turn there, and that is approximately almost 5 feet. Well, I've got a 6-foot level, so I'm able to where the gate's going to sit on those, while I put it into the hinge and connect it to the top hinge. And so I wanted that to be, those blocks to be level. And so when I get down here, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see if I can get it right. You probably can't see that, but it's right in the middle of the bubble right there. But it's about an inch low on these ascend. It's setting here and setting here, and it's about 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch low here. I want to have as much height off the ground up to the top to maximize how much the gate is off the ground. So instead of digging this end out and pushing it down to level it, I'm gonna bring that end up and bring that end up and get it leveled so I can have maximum clearance on the ground. Anyway, thought I'd just throw that simple logic in for those who care. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And surprisingly, I should have brought my pick. Well, it's not. It shouldn't have been a surprise, because this old river, this old road here that had grown up, actually at one time had a spread of limestone, 3/4 inch limestone on it. And over the years, the dirt, rain, and leaf decays have caused it to build up and hide the fact that there was rock here at one time. Not sure if there was an old home place back in here or what, but anyway, it does have a lot of rock, which is good for me, because I am going to put another load on this, and that will help, stabilize the base a little better as you drive over it. And but I should have brought my pick, because that little old shovel is having a rough time digging into that limestone. And as you can tell, I've got 4 shovels, and 3 of them are just like that from digging in the rock over here, and it just destroys. And I've went through 2 picks already. So anyway, it's a little bit different tool set you need over here for most of the things you want to do. Anyway, so I'm going to get those 2 ends raised up and head to the dump, I think. So talk to you later. All right, well, I got that level. Level with the whirl and level with that post, so I'm going to leave it right there, and maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll come in and start drilling for the hinges. I still won't really set it until the weekend, because I want that concrete to cure a little bit more. And anyway, it didn't take long. So we'll see you when I get ready to put the hinges in the post. Well, good morning, folks. It is a Tuesday at 9:25 a.m. Very, very hot and humid today. And my project, well, my intent was to try to get these J-bolts installed on this post, and maybe later in the week actually put the fence, the gate up. But had a unusual situation, since this gate was made by they had their own proprietary hinges on it, and it was given to me. Well, the problem is that these hinges are male, and normally they're female. The J-bolts are male, so I've got to come up with an alternative. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the big box store, and I'm going to look at their gas pipe and their J-bolts and see if I can get a cast iron gas pipe to fit up in that. And if it does, then I'm probably going to put a gas pipe, we'll weld it here all the way down and put the J-bolt here, and on that end put the J-bolt that way, and that way it will swivel. That's the idea. But since that has slowed me down, what I'm going to do is spray and kill some of these weeds that's coming up in the drive before they want to really take hold again. And what I'm going to do this time is I was out on YouTube looking at natural weed killers and that kind of stuff, just curious, and there are some videos out there that are suggesting that you can make a weed killer, natural weed killer, with vinegar, salt, water, and the touch of Dawn. Well, the vinegar has to be a 34% concentration. You can't really, I can't find that in the stores, so I ordered it. Got 2 gallons of it, and so I'm going to make up. I got my water, got my salt. It was a quart of salt and almost probably 4 gallons of water. And this I'll put this as 45% vinegar concentrate. So I'm going to put that in here, mix it up, pour it into my sprayer, add a little Dawn, and see what the effects will be. And we'll get that recorded. I'll record the effects of it. I may, if I got enough, I'm going to spray around in here where the weeds are encroaching on my driveway, and see if that would kill those as well if I've got enough. So I'm going to get to it. Sweating away. Goodbye. Okay, it's Wednesday morning around 8 o'clock. What I'm doing today is I've got a pump and a 275 gallon water tank, and I'm pulling water off of the lake to go in the tank, and then I've got a 120 volt motor pump that I'm going to put in it, and I'm going to run it off my generator. I got a 300 foot of hose, and I'm going to pump water out of that into my watering hose on the property. The challenge is that pump is really good. It pumps about 100 gallons a minute. Priming it is the thing I've got to do right now. It's running, but it's not primed. So I put some water in the hose and primed it, but it's a little stubborn sometimes. So I got to get down in here and help it get started. It'll take about 2.5 minutes to fill that tank up. So I'm going to get that done and head over to the property. Alright, finally got it, the air out of the line, and this thing is just humming with the water. Got a 2-inch line on it for intake and output, and like I said, that pump will pump 100 gallons a minute. It takes about 3 minutes to fill up this tank, and you got to hold on to that hose because it will literally jerk it right out of your hand. Water sport for sure. Well, valve's open back here. All right. The valve's got a little, it's got a valve at the bottom you open and close. And it was evidently open, but it doesn't matter. The water was coming in faster than it was going out. And I don't need but about 150 gallons of water anyway, so that's way more than what I've got in this tank. That was a hassle. But the problem was that there was an air leak in the intake line, and obviously it won't allow it to seat. So I had to take I didn't get that real tight on the pump on the intake side. I took a crescent wrench and just hammered it around until it was super tight. And when I did, that closed the air gap, and that hose started just sucking in the lake. Also, this is where I come when I'm getting ready to crappie fish to set out my minnow traps. And I use cat food, and I throw it right in this area here, and I get a bunch of minnows. There's a bunch, you can't see them on the video, but there's a bunch right in here right now. So when I want to go crappie fishing, I just set out my minnow trap and come over and get my minnows. But anyway, so I got to get the hoses back on and get over to the property. Okay, I'm back on the property, and I got a water hole number 1 down that hill, and I've got about 300 feet of water hose that I'm going to pull down there and get ready to start pumping water out of that tank and filling up that watering hole. It's going to get hot, and we're not going to have enough rain, and I want to keep some water in there. Even though the wildlife may not need as much water, I want to try to hold them on this piece of property as much as I can, and water is a critical, factor. So anyway, so I'm gonna get that hose down there, and when I get it all cranked up, I'll start that video. Okay, so I got the pump in the tank, and I got it plugged into my generator. So I'm going to turn the generator on, and I primed it. I may have to get some more water out of the tank to prime it, but crank it up, get that motor going, and then I'll walk down there and get the hose, make sure the hose is water's coming out of the end. So I'll get a picture of that shortly. Got water going into the tank. That rock right there, the water's running down. I came down here to see how much water was in it after the rain. It had a little water in it, but it had a tortoise that fell off in there, and he climbed up on that rock and couldn't get out. So I gave him a helping hand and got him out and set him down, and I guess he went on his way. But I got to build all this up in here, so when the water comes off of that hill right there, it'll flow into it. So I've got my shovel, and I'm going to take some of that dirt where I've kicked it up with the excavator and hopefully to build this up, so when we do get a nice rain, it will put water into this tank. That's I'm gonna let that run and start shoveling some dirt. Okay, it's almost full, and by the time I get to the top of the hill and cut it off, it will be overflowing. So, and I packed new dirt around, so, and it's amazing how the insects can find you. I've got a horsefly that's just eating me up, so I got to get up there and get that thing cut off and kill this horsefly if I can. Okay, so I got it all loaded back up, and now I'll go to the water hole number 2 and do the same thing. I haven't driven on this since I dug all those trees up and widened this up, opened it up. So it's had a couple of rains on it, so I probably got some deep holes in here somewhere. Watering hole number 2 is down there. So I will drag the hose and get back on that part of the video. It is warm, and it's just 9:20. It is warm, and I am soaking wet from sweat. I don't mind the sweating, it's the cramps that come later, no matter how much I drink. But it is warm down in this woods, and the horsefly is just relentless. This little old watering hole number 2 was almost full. Look, I probably put 20 gallons in it. And so I got to fill in the dirt around it, right in here, all the way around, so that when the water comes off of here or from back here, it will flow into that. So I got to get this water hose up and get the dirt around it, and I'll be done. Then I can go on to another. I got just some welding to do that I want to show you guys. On my gate, I had to do some modifications, some rethinking, and so I'm going to share that. Hopefully I can get to it today if I don't get too much moisture out of my body. So let me get to this and finish it up. I got the dirt around the watering hole. Got the watering hole full, and now I've got to get this trailer and truck turned around. And I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I back a lot of trailers, pretty good at backing stuff. And I think what I'm going to do is just point it up that way, swing it around, and there's a gap right there to right there. Swing it around and just go up in there and come back. And I'll be on my way. And it's awful hot. I'm soaking wet. There's not. I probably lost 6 or 7 pounds just in sweat. But that's how I like it. So, here we go. Let's get out of here. Well, I got home and took off all my wet clothes from being down in the woods working on those water holes. And right now, and there she parked over there. But what happened on my gate? Well, normally a gate has a hinge here, a female hinge, and the post would have like a J-bolt, some type of J-bolt, and then the female part would be on the here, and you would slide that in, it would rotate. But as you can see, I got 2 males, and I went on the internet trying to find a J-bolt with a female end on it so I wouldn't have to fool with that, and I could not find any. So I decided I would get a 3/4 inch gas pipe, and it's hot. This thing is hot from the heat. And I would put it, I'm going to weld it on to right there, and then I'll cut it on each end for the J-bolt to fit in the inside. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to cut about 1 inch or so, like use a little spacer. Let me stop that. So I can get a little spacer that I can put in here. I'll slide a washer up and put a spacer in here, or put the spacer in and washer. I hadn't figured that out just yet. And that way that will keep that off the pole a little bit and help the pivot point. But this is a 5/8 J-bolt, and that end would not fit into a 1/2 inch gas pipe, so I had to get a 3/4 inch gas pipe, and for that J-bolt, for that hinge to fit in. And I'll cut that part off, the thread part off, but it's going to stay in there, and it's going to pivot on there. And I'll put that on there, and I'll cut probably right there, cut off the thread part, because that's going to be the weakest part of that pipe, because it's already been thinned out with the cutting of the threads. So anyway, sometime today I've got to get this grind off, get the pipe grind off. Got my clamps to get it, hold it on there with, and I'll get it welded on there. I'm not a welder. I would say that I'm more of a metal melter. I melt metal. It's some kind of infusion, some fusion, metal fusion. That's basically what I do. Okay, so that's it for right now. It is so hot, so I may just wait till this afternoon. Got to get on my Kubota and cut grass. I believe that's what I'm going to do sometime today, and try to get that done. Probably wait till later this afternoon. Anyway, that's my next project. And I'll get you caught up on it when I get it done. Okay, I just finished welding up this pipe. It's been really hot today. I've had to change clothes 3 times and looks like it's going to be a 4th time. But anyway, I put this pipe on here, and the theory is that it's going to fit just like that and pivot on each end. And just like this. And there's going to be a little bushing there. And anyway, I've got it all welded up, and I'm ready to, I guess, take it back and see if we can hang it. Not sure if I'll get to it. I won't get to it tomorrow, being Thursday. I've got some things to do. I may get to it Friday or Saturday morning. We'll see. Anyway, I'm done. I got to put up my stuff and get inside and get cooled off and all that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful day today. Hot though, golly hot. Okay, I'll get you on the next phase. Good morning. It's Friday, about 7:25 in the morning, and my goal is to get this gate on that post by myself, and I've got some ideas about how to get that done. So I will see how that goes, and I'll come back and I'll give an update as I progress through the installation. So here we go. Okay, this is where I'm at that stage. This end, because of the way it's designed, it's about halfway, but the weight end is over here and not back here. So handling this thing by one person, that probably weighs, I don't know, probably 125 pounds, I don't know. But it's not light. And so I decided to measure what it would take for me to brace it right in here to keep it somewhat level. And then I put 2x4s on each side and grasp it so I can mark it over here for my holes. I've got to drill a hole in here. So that's the way it is right now. So I'm ready to mark it for my holes. Then I'll take it down and put the bolts in and see how that goes. All right. It is humid today again. Okay, I had a situation. This drill bit just would not, it's just not sharp enough to cut through that creosote post. So I had to go to the big box store, and I've got this drill bit, and we're going to see. I probably got about an inch through, and then it just wouldn't do anything. So I'd go to the box store and buy this, and so I'm gonna get back to drilling hole, and let's see how fast this goes. Well, all right, 2 hours later, and I got it installed, and that worked out just the way that I wanted it to. So, pivots on that. Got it tightened down, leveled up. The gate is level. And Got enough ground clearance so it doesn't drag, probably 10 inches or so. And now I've got to set a post over here to put a chain around so that I can chain it. But so far so good. And you know, this thing is heavy. So I must confess that when I get into a project, I'm basically a do-it-myself type person. And I get into a project that is like this situation, that's heavy and bulky. And I thought, how in the world am I going to do this by myself? Well, this is how I do it. I pray. I said, Lord, I need the strength to do this. I know I'm by myself, and I know you've always provided me the strength I needed for my situations. And so he came through again. I got that thing mounted all by myself. Thank you, Lord, again. And it's taken me 2 hours. That meant probably a 25-minute ride to the box store and back to get that drill. That drill bit did great. Holy cow. That went through that 9-inch post in about 30 seconds. But the problem is, it grabbed that creosote post so tight that drill jumped in my hand a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. I thought, man, it's gonna break my wrist. But it went through there in about 30 seconds. So I'm done with this part of the project. Setting that post is the next one. And then across the road, I still not have gotten my gravel yet. So maybe next week. I was hoping to get to it this week, but have volunteered to do some other stuff to help out some other folks, and I just hadn't got to it. So that's my project for today.